Well, we're here again. The age-old question within the luxury community on whether or not we perceive Coach as being a luxury brand. Now, recently, fellow YouTuber Autumn Beckman has done a video on why she believes Coach is a luxury brand, solely focusing on the quality aspect of the bags that they produce, and more so a certain range of bags that Coach produce, which she perceives to be on the same standard as more commonly agreed upon luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, etc. So in this video, I'm going to get into my opinion on why I have some thoughts on the old Coach, so let's get into it! But guys, if you are new here on my channel, I like to talk about all things luxury, so if that's something you're into, I would love it if you could hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you're notified when I bring out new videos, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Now, the video that Autumn has done, I will definitely have linked down below, and it is basically talking about why Coach should be a luxury brand, or how it is a luxury brand, if we're only looking at the simple quality of the product, and why it doesn't have this, I guess, agreed upon perception of it being a luxury brand like Louis Vuitton and Chanel, etc. Now, whilst I disagree with the overall kind of sentiment behind the luxury side of things, I do like the video that Autumn has done because she's really stated her point, given examples as to why she feels this way, and shown examples of why Coach should be a luxury brand, or is a luxury brand in her opinion, based on the quality of the products. She goes through 10 bags to, cite examples of why. Now, I like watching videos like this, regardless of whether I agree or disagree with them. I like the effort that's put into it, and I like the argument that is formed. I think it's the best way to convince your audience or provide context to things when you actually have an argument with grounds on it. It really does make it an interesting video. And this video is more why I feel the way I feel about stuff with regards to these sort of brand turf wars. So I did a little bit of research and I looked at what Coach actually think about themselves with regards to their brand. And Coach, by their own admission, refer to themselves as a global fashion brand, which I found quite interesting, very ambiguous, and we're going to play a bit of semantics with the words here. Now, me reading that, seeing fashion brand, that does not automatically resonate as being like a luxury brand to me, as in Louis Vuitton, Chanel. And you're probably thinking, oh, kind of like you're really plucking at hairs here, but having the word fashion brand in their kind of descriptive term tells me that they're a brand that doesn't actually want to be playing in the same field as Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Hermes, yada, yada, yada. They're happy where they sit. They're not quite contemporary. They're a little bit more expensive than contemporary, but they're not high-end luxury. They're kind of sitting in this equilibrium, I guess, between the two sets. And I think they're quite happy sitting there, and I think it works well for them. Like, I don't think Coach are on the breadline, if you know what I mean. Like, I think they're doing okay. So the kind of league that they're trying to perceive themselves into, it's working. So I don't think they even want to be playing with the big boys. Now, in Autumn's video at the beginning, she does make it clear that her basis for her argument is solely based on the quality of the products, and why, because the examples that she cites with the Coach bags, they are of a standard of quality, that is why she believes them to be a luxury brand. Now, whilst I do agree with that part of it, to me, especially these days, the quality aspect is almost at the bottom of the tier of my kind of qualification for a high-end luxury brand. And as we all know, especially with Louis Vuitton, for example, the quality has declined in certain aspects, not all aspects, and on certain bags, not all bags. For me, I attribute the quality decline more so for the increased demand, while generations who never previously bought Louis Vuitton before all of a sudden are. So Louis Vuitton has to keep up with the demand, and from that, the quality is declining because they're pumping out so many bags. So that's why, for me, this generation that I'm living in, or I started buying luxury in, the quality has always been the same. I haven't noticed a discrepancy in the quality. Yeah, there are certain pieces where they've had issues and recalls. There's certain bags where they haven't looked the best, but overall, I've personally never really bought a Louis Vuitton product where I've been like, oh my God, the quality's so shit, blah, 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 blah. Like the overall feel of the quality for me has always been good. Now, if you were to look up the definition of a luxury brand sits at the very top of the market, offering exceptional quality, personalized experience, and exclusivity. Exclusivity is probably the key part that I would pick out from a luxury brand, which is why the quality component of it really does sit at the bottom for myself. Luxury is not an inclusive thing. It's an exclusive thing just by definition alone. But if it was an inclusive thing, it wouldn't be a luxury brand. The two words are not, they're like the same end of the magnet. They're like it doesn't work. Like luxury being inclusive is like H2O with no O. You got hydrogen. It's boring. It's just not, they're not meant to be that way. Now, you can say that's snobbish, you can say it is anything, but if luxury was inclusive, it wouldn't be luxury. It would be a shop. It just wouldn't work. So it has to be exclusive for it to be luxury. Now, the other component, I guess, of the luxury side of it really does include the history. Now, the history of the brand is important because having that brand equity, that lineage of products and stories associated with the bags, and if you look at the story of the Birkin, if you look at the story of Hermes in general, if you look at the heritage behind Louis Vuitton with the trunk making, that equity that has been equated from history resonates with the brand and its customers. It almost justifies the price. You're not buying the dollar value of the materials anymore, because we all know that that Leather Heinstein guy, whatever his name is that his name? I don't know. The one that like burns all the bags? He assigns like a dollar value and a labor cost to the bags and says, oh, this bag cost $150 to make and Louis Vuitton is selling it for $5,000. Like, yeah, we know that. I'm not going into Louis Vuitton and being like, nah, this bag, I know how much it costs to get made, so I'm not buying it. Like, you're not buying the materials, you're buying a piece of the brand, you're buying a piece of the heritage, you're buying a status symbol, you're buying something that you love. Now, whilst Coach may make bags that are equal quality to Louis Vuitton, or probably better quality to Louis Vuitton in some avenues, it's almost irrelevant, the quality, which sounds so stupid to even say out loud, but the quality almost is just, it's at the bottom of the pecking order. Now, for me, the word luxury, when we're talking about, luxury fashion, not other luxuries, because it's quite a broad word. When we're talking about the fashion houses and buying luxury items, whether it be cars, whether it be bags, whether it be jewelry, it's not an inclusive world, it's an exclusive world. And I think if you're bringing in, watching the sunrise is an everyday luxury, or walking my dog in the park is an everyday luxury, the terms aren't interchangeable. You've got to, what the actual topic you're talking about, you can't rope it in with the same thing, like it's different. So I think if you're just strictly talking about luxury items, then using the word luxury almost has its own definition about being an exclusive thing and not an inclusive thing. So that's where I kind of feel the waters get muddied, because people say, well, to me it's a luxury. But if you're talking about luxury brands, then it's not your own version of it. It's like a definition. I hope that makes sense. But back onto the quality aspect of Coach. Now, sure, Coach may have a ton of bags that are a lot better quality than Louis Vuitton or even Chanel or whatever. They may have versions of bags that are better quality or the same level of quality, but it's not enough just to have the quality aspect to be a luxury brand. You've got to tick all the boxes. You've got to have the exclusivity. You've got to have the history. You've got to have the luxury shopping experience. You've got to have the collaborations and collections and limited releases. You've got to have all of these things, and you've got to be ticking a lot of boxes to be classified as a true luxury brand. I do understand that still the term luxury brand is debatable, but generally speaking, if you do Google these terms, they seem to have three things, and it is quality, exclusivity, and scarcity, I guess. Whether it's the mass-produced element isn't really present. Again, mass produced, it kind of is, but it's not really. For the argument of this, let's just say stuff isn't mass produced. So I think Coach kind of has this, still this kind of image of, well, there's outlet bags and they heavily discount them in department stores, even the non-outlet bags. They're not fully a luxury brand, but they're not a super cheap contemporary brand because they are expensive. They're like over $1,000, some of these bags. And I mean, the overall kind of consensus with their bags is they're good quality, like what you get, you pay for. And I don't think anyone's ever denying that Coach is poor quality, but I think there's a lot of other things that come into play when you're making it a luxury brand, okay? Now, another point I would make is also the perception of a brand that not an individual has, but more a society has, or a kind of community would have on something. So I know in America, Coach is seen as a really, you're getting your first kind of expensive bag and you start off with Coach. Obviously that's a generalization, but you know, that's kind of the thing that I've noticed a lot on YouTube, especially with American YouTubers, where they say the very first bag I got was a Coach one and I thought it was, you know, the bee's knees and I carried it everywhere and it cost this much and blah, 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 blah. Whereas in Australia, for example, we don't have that lineage with Coach. We don't have that association of, oh, my very first bag was a Coach bag. We have other brands that are similar, but we don't have that linkage with Coach. So I think a lot of that does come into play. Coach obviously is an American brand. It started in New York, and there is that kind of link to it being an American brand and with Americans. Obviously it's sold all around the world now and it's changed. They've changed their kind of target audience. They brought out more modern bags, like competing with the Pochette Métis silhouette, for example, the Cassie bag, that sort of thing. But back when you would have this nostalgic vibe with the brand, we didn't have that in Australia. So I think also that really does come into play why people feel so strongly about Coach being a luxury brand, because it's the first thing that they kind of had. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this, and please go over to Autumn's channel and watch her video. I really do like the way she did this video, and I really do like some of the points she's made. I will link it down below, and you should probably subscribe to her channel as well, because she does put out a lot of great videos that are conversation based, and she always has a very entertaining way of presenting videos. And a lot of the time, whether I care about the topic or not, I always watch the videos and I do learn something and I enjoy them, so definitely go check out her channel. If you've liked this video, please give it the thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. I'm not sure, editing Connor might have to cut some of this out because I'm not sure how much I've rambled on, but anyways, that's editing Connor's problem. But thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all very shortly in my next video. Bye!